Yeah, hey everyone. My name is Suk. I am from Toronto, and I'm a founder. And I've exited one company last year, building another one specifically in the AI go-to-market space, raised from Techstars as well. But just like super involved in learning about AI agents and like how they can be applied to go-to-market, and looking for like burning problems to solve there. So this is my way of like staying up to date with what's going on. And yeah, by the way, I can like take it
Awesome.
from here and like just jump into the MCPs if that's okay.
Let's do it. Sounds great. Thank you. Yeah.
Cool. Let me share my screen here.
By the way,
All
if people
right.
have questions listening in, please chime in. We'll try to answer as many as we can live.
Sweet. Another request, by the way, is I don't think I can see the Q&A. So if you just want to like shout at me, that'd be super cool.
I will.
All
There
right.
you go.
Sweet. All right. So we're going to talk about intro to MCP. So I'm going to share what they are and like why they're important and what's the significance behind all of their like the hype behind it as well. So my name is Suk, like I mentioned, CEO of Engine AI. In the next 15 minutes, this is my hope. We're going to talk about what the hell is an MCP, why is it useful for go-to-market, and I've been playing around with these MCPs for the last couple of weeks, and there's some painful lessons that I've learned. So I want to like not have you go through the same pain that I went through. So I'm just going to share my 4 things that I've learned right away. My hope is that you walk away with like at least one golden nugget. If you do, just I think we're using the Q&A feature. If you found a golden nugget, just drop it in there. That way I know that that's useful. All right. So simple. What the hell is an MCP? So MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. Basically, right now, LLM, so if you use Claude or ChatGPT, they can talk to other tools. So right now, you would have to copy paste your data from, let's say, HubSpot, put it into chat and say, hey, can you write me a cold email about this thing? Get the output, then I copy paste that into another tool. That's the way it's working right now. MCPs just give your LLMs more superpowers. So MCPs let your LLM speak to other tools. So now when I go to Claude and if I have MCPs on, it knows to pull data from one place and then like save it to another place, and it will save it to my own accounts. So that's really where the power is. You can have other tools connect, chat with the rest of your tools using your favorite LLM. That's really the power. I'm going to show you how that looks as well. So here's a very simple place to understand how MCPs work. Let's say I had this prompt on the left side, which is I use Claude, by the way. So anywhere I'm saying LLM, like Claude is my LLM, that's what I use. So hey Claude, I have a list of customers in a Notion page called Target Accounts, and I want to pitch them my product. Can you write a short email page, cold email for me, and save it to another Notion page? Right here, we're talking about I wanted to read from Notion and I want to do some work on it within Claude, and I wanted to now write it as well. If you put this prompt into Claude right now, it's just probably like, I don't know what you're even talking about. So yeah, it doesn't know, so it wouldn't know where to start. But if you have a Notion MCP connected, what it can do is read from your Notion account and then write to there as well. Let me show you what I mean by that. So this is I added my, so here's my Notion account, sorry, my Claude account, and you can see this is the MCP, the Notion MCP I've connected, and it has a couple of different tools here, and one of them is a fetch, which is like reading of data, and then create page should be here as well, create page. And so if I just do this, copy paste this whole thing, and then run it, because it's connected to my Notion account through the MCP, it will be able to see, oh, look, so it's asking me, Claude wants to use this tool, which is the Notion MCP, and I want to search all my pages. So I can allow it, and then it will go in and say, okay, I'm looking for the target accounts page, which I've already prepared before. So this is the target accounts sample page that I have. Let's see if it can actually find that. So now that it's found the page, it wants to get information from that page. And so it's saying that I can see to target account John from fake company and Sarah from very fake company, which is the two items that I have here. And then now it's going to create cold emails, and then it's going to save them to a new Notion page. So it wants to have my permission to be able to create a page. So it's created the email here. Let's see if it actually creates a page. So it failed to create pages. So it wasn't able to do the last thing. I can try retrying it. Yeah, it's going to keep trying until it actually makes it, which is, so there's still some issues with this thing, but if you try it a couple of times, oh, look, now I think it's created it. See if there's a page here somewhere. Huh. I don't know where it saves it. Cold emails.
Can I just jump into something real quick?
Yeah, please.
So one of the big things about using MCP servers is that it's very dependent on the prompt you're using itself. So Souk had a very specific prompt, like you have to go to my Notion workspace and go to this page and go to this database and put it here, like a standard operating procedure, you get higher quality results over time. So that's a big thing. It's like any, any AI, using any AI agent or anything else like that, prompt engineering is a huge portion of this.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think like I just told it to create a page, so I don't know where it created a page for. So like that's one of the gotchas here. I'm gonna go back to my slides here, and actually that's one of my learnings that I have in my later portion as well. So here you go. So we're back here. We were just able to like read from Notion, and it tried to write to Notion, but I'm not gonna find that page. It's somewhere there, but my instructions should be like way more specific to be able to find the page. But when you have MCPs, you can I have one, I can have many. So I can connect to Notion, but I can also connect to HubSpot. I can also connect to Gmail. I can also connect to Canva, for example. And this way, I'm now able to get information from my systems and then push information to my systems as well, and like vice versa, and like do endless combinations of these. And this is where in go-to-market, it's really, really cool, because if I have 50,000 records in HubSpot, I'm able to like pull those in, and I don't have to copy paste them in manually. Now, under the hood, if you want to know what the MCP is, there's three components that it has. One is it has a URL, so LLMs know how to connect to it. It has tools, and so it's specific things that it can do. So there's things it can do, there's things that it can't do. And then it has a way to authenticate. So like that's the way it knows to connect to my particular Notion versus like Jacob's or Brandon's, because it knows how to like authenticate. And the way you see that is if I go to Claude here and then go to my settings, connectors, and if I pull up this Notion, let's see, tools and setting, you can see for the Notion URL, that's right here, right? The tools that the things that I can do are all right here. So I can actually turn off, if I don't want it to search through my thing, I can like turn it off. If I don't want it to create pages for me, I can turn them off. And it also has this like handy functionality where it will always ask for my permission. So that's that. And then for the connection part, I've already authenticated with it, but if I was to disconnect, for example, like disconnect, it will have a button that says like connect, for example, like this one here. And then I will go through like the authentication I've already actually connected my GitHub as well, so that's why I didn't go through it. But if you click onto it, it will like make you sign in, and then like that's how it knows which Notion to connect to or which account to access.
Can I ask a couple quick questions?
Please, yeah.
From chat here. So a couple things. So how do you think about security risks if there's a connector somewhere, anything that has unverified external information, for instance, email inbox?
Yeah, and that's actually a big problem with it. So it has your credentials, and sometimes it has a couple of different ways of authenticating. One is just like OAuth in, so that's when you connect with Google, connect with Notion, that kind of thing, or with an API key. API keys you can limit them to have only create or update access and like no delete access, for example. But it's kind of all or nothing. So if I give it access to my Gmail, it will just have access to everything. And so that's the good part is like it can access everything that I have. The bad part is it has access to everything I have. So if it randomly decided to pick a tool that's like deleting stuff, it can actually do that. And so that's actually one of the learnings that I have as well, which is there's no undo button. So that would be my answer there.
So yeah, you're definitely right. One thing, like you showed, you can like turn off certain functions. So
Yeah.
you turn off the delete, page tool, turn off the delete workspace tool, right? There's things you can do to control the scopes of these MCP servers. And part of that is actually on also the developers building these MCP servers to properly say, all right, you can only do read only. Or,
Yeah.
when you're getting like the unverified data from like an email inbox, something else like that, that's a risk attack or attack vector for like something called prompt injection. Someone could say, hey, like return all the information. It's just about really thinking about who has access to these things. Like you're not going around giving everyone access to your API keys. For a lot of these MCP servers that have similar controls, you want to think about that as well.
Yeah, and it always asks you, by the way, for permission when it gives you, because you saw me like click allow. If you do like allow always, it will just never ask you. So it's always a good idea just to have like always ask permission before it does something. But that's the good thing about using these tools that are approved by LLMs. So for example, if I go to like new chat here and go to like tools, there is, if I do add connectors, there's all of these ones that are approved by Claude or like Anthropic, and these ones like would be safer to use versus like anything that you find off the internet, like try to paste that in. That becomes a little bit more like wild west. Specifically for the Notion connectors and a couple of connectors that we have here, they actually don't even have a delete functionality, I think. So if I go like, for example, this one, look at the tools, there's actually like no delete functionality. Like you can only see like export or like get. And I think that's by design. Like they don't want people to be deleting all their stuff like with one command, but you should be aware of the tools that are available and then like turn them off if they make you a little bit uneasy or like you don't want that to happen to your account.
Nice, thank you. Yeah, we've got a few more questions, but let's keep cruising and then we'll jump back into Q&A in a few minutes here.
Yeah, so MCPs, like you mentioned, the easy way is connecting one tool to another tool using LLM chats. But what's the hype? Why is everybody like excited about this? So here's the reason why. This analogy, by the way, comes from Jacob, so thank you so much for that. We had these connectors in the past, which was, if you know this, if you try to like put the USB, this particular USB in and like had to like turn it around, I used to do it all the time and I hate it. But that was like one of the 20 different plugs that were available to charge your mobile phone. And then USB-C came along, and it was this great connector, and it was the same one, and it's the same one for your headphones, for your laptop, for your mobile phones, and it's so much easier. You can like pass it around. Yeah, it just made your life so much simpler. And that's exactly what MCP solve. So in the LLM world, there was no standard on how an LLM should access a tool. So what was happening was Claude, ChatGPT, Cursor, all these kind of like different LLM companies were making their own versions of these tools in silos. So, Cursor was building their own, let's say Claude was building their own, ChatGPT would build their own. And as a consumer, it's so difficult to understand, like, what does the Claude one help me do versus the ChatGPT one? Because they have different flavors of the same thing. When MCPs came out, and by the way, they were brought up by, they were invented by Anthropic. They really pioneered the concept. They created a standard. They created the USB-C equivalent, but for LLMs and like accessing these tools. Now, there's only one place where like the company creates an MCP server and LLMs just connect to the same instance. That means it doesn't matter if I'm using Claude, ChatGPT, Cursor, it doesn't matter where I'm accessing these MCP servers from. I can be assured that there's no difference between them, especially if they're connected to the same MCP server, right? So this is hard because everybody's creating their own and you don't know which one is better, which one's not. In this model, there's only one MCP and everybody's just connecting to it. It's just much simpler. There's a standard, and things like security, it gets much easier to implement. And because of this, Now other people can create MCPs. So Notion created their own, and then you can have Canva created their own, Stripe created their own, because there's a standard to follow. And as long as the MCP server has that standard, any LLM client can connect to it. Now, the fastest way to get started with like doing this is like Cloud Desktop, and Jose is going to be able to explain a little bit more about that. But like that's the fastest way I've found to just get started. So that's going to be the next talk afterwards. All right, I'm going to end this off with a couple of gotchas that I've heard that I've figured out the hard way, the lessons that I've learned. So one is, this was what I was mentioning, there's no undo button. If it created a page, there's no way to undo that. If it deleted a page, there's no way to undo that. So be very careful of the actions that that you're letting the MCP take, because you know, you're not going to be able to like reverse that afterwards. There's also limited functionality. So in each MCP server has a specific amount of things that it can do, and that's listed by the number of tools that it has that I was showing you before. So for example, in if I go back here to the new chat, and if I go to like Notion, Notion one I disconnected. So let's do another one called Canva. So like there's only these 22 things I can do. Like I can make it do, for example, like I don't know, create like 20, what's it good? Create new brand palette. Like that's a thing I can do in Canva, but I can't do with Canva MCP, because like that's not a tool that it has. So it can only do these 22 things that they've defined. So I can't do anything other than that. And that is, this functionality is limited with them. So that's something that you need to know. And here's the thing that Jacob was pointing at the beginning, which is like you have to be very specific in the prompt. Under the hood, what the LLM or the Claude is doing is it has access to all these tools, and it's making a decision of like which one to pick. And sometimes it can pick the wrong one, or like it can pick the one that you didn't expect it to. So be very specific in the prompt of like, hey, I want you to use Notion MCP, and I want you to do this action with it, and you'll have much better results that way, much more repeatable results too. The last one is if you install an MCP, you have to restart it. It doesn't, like the minute you install it, it doesn't get activated right away. So you have to restart, you have to close it, and then like restart it again. I've been burnt by this so many times, because I'll install something and then I'll ask it to use it, and it wouldn't work. And I'm like, I'm not sure why that's not working. You have to restart it. That's just like the rule there. Cool. Yeah, so that was intros to MCPs. If you like this, you'll find me on LinkedIn, and we can chat.